Well, all losses are frustrating, but that one tonight seemed to be especially frustrating. Got off to a great start, and obviously they got a very powerful lineup. Gave up a 2-run homer and a grand slam so 6 runs on 2 swings. We had a lot of hits tonight, but we left a lot of runners on base. So, at the end of the day, we didn't do what it took to win the game, and we'll have to bounce back tomorrow.
Paul, pardon the bluntness of the question, but knowing where the radar was right after first pitch, what was that conversation like before the game, and why did you guys decide to start the game knowing what the weather was going to be?
Oh, we were getting all conflicting reports on what the weather was going to be. We have a administrative staff here that manages the game. It's easy to second guess weather. Nobody knows what the weather is going to do. But had plenty of years where we don't start the game and sit there for 2 hours and watch it not rain and not lightning and everything else. And we got reports that the line of stuff wasn't going to come through until about 8 or 8:30. And what are you going to do? Sit there while nothing's happening, and you never know when it's going to come. So we did decisions are made to best knowledge we have, and nobody can predict the weather accurately for sure.
Bringing Brandon Stone back out after 3.5 hours of not pitching, can you kind of just take us through the process of that decision and kind of how that conversation went down with you, Brandon, Terry, whoever's in it?
Well, he only threw 10 or 11 pitches in the first inning, and because the decision was made kind of late to get started, he really didn't even throw that many pitches in the bullpen prior to the game. It was more like a reliever coming in, after he was ready. And we were going to not bring him back, and really the kid pleaded with us. He said, I feel fine, and I thought he actually threw well. He had no tightness. He threw well, and they just got to him there in the fourth inning when they hit the 2-run homer against him. Again, you make decisions based on what you feel is the best thing, and the kid was pleading to pitch, so obviously he felt good. I didn't think he was at risk, and we weren't going to let him throw 150 pitches out there. He gave us 3 more innings, and did a very courageous job.
Paul, bottom of the 7th, I think Clemente came in, and you guys got 2 hits to load the bases, and then ended up getting 3 straight strikeouts to kind of squander that loaded bases opportunity. Just what was the difference in those 3 at bats? The same pitcher where you had it kind of rolling there for 2, and then something changed.
I don't know. He made some good pitches. We swung at some bad pitches. I don't think any of the 3 strikes to Bo, or 3 pitches to Bo, were strikes. He swung at 3 bad balls in a row, and then Scobie, just couldn't make contact, and then Bakes couldn't make contact. So, you give credit to their kid. He was throwing the ball hard. He's been pitching really good baseball for him, and obviously Kevin thought that was a critical time in the game, and we just didn't come through, and their pitcher did. I couldn't tell you what the difference was, except for the fact that, we just didn't get the job done when we needed to right there.
Situation on the catch, no catch out in left field. Did you believe the run should have counted?
I believe the run should have counted. I mean, anybody that's watching the game could see that Blake was running. He believed the ball was going to be down. He was 2/3 of the way home around third base when the signal went up, But, the explanation I got was that the umpires are supposed to be very conservative in where they apply the runners, but for me, it was pretty obvious that the kid was going to score. You have the left fielder land on his stomach out there, and your runner's 30 feet from home plate. I don't understand how anybody in their right mind could say that he wasn't going to score on that ball. He was clearly going to score. But I don't, obviously it didn't affect the outcome of the game. We lost by 4 runs, but I think that's a call that maybe the umpires that are at the game have a better sense for it than even maybe somebody on replay, but the decision was made back in Birmingham.
Any other questions? I know first pitch for tomorrow is until 4, but I mean it is
Actually, it's been switched to 1:00.
1:00. So it's now almost 2 a.m. How do you how does that affect your, approach for tomorrow and kind of your preparation?
Well, nobody said it was going to be easy, So we're just going to have to go home, get some sleep, and get back here early in the morning and be ready to go at 1:00. It's going to be a challenge for sure, but it's the same for both teams.